Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Fetch. I'm going to be reading chapter 1 and 2 from Orphan Train Riders. This is about Joanna. We read about Charles in the first section of the book, and now we're going to read about Joanna. Chapter 1, page 62. Joanna knew that her speed would be the reason she had escaped, so she didn't care that her feet pounded the road and her breath came out in ragged puffs. She didn't chance a look behind her. She didn't want to waste the time. She knew who was there, a bulky cop in a Navy City patrol uniform. She'd run into him before, and she didn't want to meet up with him again anytime soon. She dodged a trash bin, hurdled a stack of crates holding squawking poultry, and continued to run down the busy street. Her prize clutched tight in her fist. When she thought her lungs would explode, she ducked into a building and slumped noisily down onto a bench. When she caught her breath, she looked up, and she was surprised to see the room was full, and all of them were staring at her. "I'm glad you could make it," a well-dressed man said in her direction. "We leave for the train in a few minutes and had one spot left. It looks like you're the girl to fill it. What's your name?" "Joanna," she answered between puffs. She didn't much look like a girl with her short, greasy hair hanging down in front of her dirty face, but she was silently thankful the man hadn't called her a boy, figuring that whatever was happening here was a better alternative to a night in jail. She hid her confusion along with the stolen bread in her hand. As the man promised, the group departed a few minutes later. They walked to the train station in a neat, quiet line. The train station was massive and crowded with people. Joanna nervously glanced around, afraid that the patrolmen might find her. She hung near the back of the group and watched with interest as several tickets were ordered and the group was herded into a train car. Joanna reluctantly followed the children into the car and took a seat. She had no idea what was going on, but at the moment she was too nervous and afraid to ask anyone. To her horror, the man from the building, the one who seemed to be in charge, sat down next to her. "I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking, but you are making the right choice. You missed my introduction back there at the Children's Aid Society. My name is Mr. Swan, and my wife, Miss Hattie, and I will be traveling with you until you are adopted by a new family. We'll be stopping in Iowa, Nebraska, and if necessary, Oklahoma." "Why would anybody want me?" The question slipped out before she could think about what she was saying. "Well, some people aren't able to have children of their own, and this is a great opportunity for them to have a family. Also, many children out west live on farms and need more children to help with the many chores," Mr. Swan explained. "Well, that kind of sounds heartless if you ask me. Taking kids away from the only place they've ever known?" Mr. Swan sat for a moment thinking about what Joanna said. Then he responded, "Do you see that baby over there that Miss Hattie's holding? The baby was left on the subway. It was left on the subway last week. It was brought to us, and now we're bringing it to a family who wants a baby." Joanna looked across the train at the tiny bundle in Miss Hattie's arms. "Now tell me, there's no heart in that. She probably won't have any other memories than the parents who will adopt her this week." "Well, I suppose it could work," Joanna agreed reluctantly. "Well, it has in the past," said Mr. Swan. "So is that where we're headed now?" "Yes." "But I don't have any of my things." "That's all right. We'll provide you with a few things, a clean set of clothes to wear when you arrive at the first stop and a little food along the way. I'm sorry to report you missed the showers before you left, but we'll do our best to make you look presentable. You don't need much anything else. Your new family would provide most everything you need." Then the man got up and moved on to talk to the other children. Joanna sat and stewed. She had left her prized possessions behind a brick in an alley where she had been sleeping that week. Wrapped in a handkerchief and tucked into the wall was a tiny baby bracelet and a second set of underclothes. She guessed some other street rat would be the owner by the end of the night. Many kids slept there. When she didn't show up, someone would surely take her dry spot in the doorway under the awning. Wouldn't be long before they would find the loose brick and take the items for themselves.